Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Louise and I talk about how to engage with fashion in more conscious and sustainable ways. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the psychology of consumer behavior. I'm currently listening to the audiobook Atomic Habits, which is a book written by James Clear. In one of the chapters, he mentions the Diderot Effect. I make these types of videos primarily as a way to share my knowledge with others as I learn new things myself. So I've always found consumer behavior very interesting, and it was actually one of my favorite topics when I was studying fashion marketing at university. So if you find this video interesting, it would mean so much to me if you left me a comment and maybe subscribe to my channel. So without further ado, let's dive in. So what is the Diderot Effect? Well, in the book by James Clear, he explains that the Diderot Effect states that obtaining a new possession often creates a spiral of consumption, which leads you to acquire more things. As a result, we end up buying things that our previous selves never needed to feel happy or fulfilled. The background story is actually quite funny to me because even though it happened so long ago, it's actually still a very relatable problem for many. Basically, there was this man called Diderot and he could not afford to pay for his daughter's wedding. He was a well-known author of the French encyclopedia, I believe, and so he sold his entire library for a large sum of money, and he suddenly found himself in a position of wealth, and so he, alongside paying for the wedding, he also bought himself a new robe. And shortly after, he felt the urge to replace more of his items. So he described how there was no more coordination, no more unity, and no more beauty between his robe and the rest of his belongings. And so he felt the urge to replace it all, basically. This chain effect of buying one new thing and then feeling the need to get a lot of more items to match is an experience shared by many people, and that's why it's gotten the name the Diderot Effect. So a few examples may be that you are shopping for new jewelry and you want the matching earrings to go with your new necklace. Maybe you're getting a new pair of running shoes and suddenly you're buying a whole kit. Or maybe you're buying new furniture and then that makes you want to redecorate your entire living room. So how do we avoid falling into the trap? Here are a few tips that I have tried, which I hope will be useful for you as well. I speak about this a lot, but my first tip is to practice mindful consumption. So before making any purchase, whatever it may be, if it's clothing, if it's items for your home, ask yourself, take a pause, reflect, and ask yourself, is this something that you truly need, or is it just something that you want based on something that you've already bought? Think about how the next purchase you are considering will impact your current space or what space it will have in your lifestyle. In other words, you might consider thinking about, will this purchase trigger other purchases? My next tip is to set clear intentions before buying. So before you make a purchase, set clear intentions for what you want that purchase to achieve. For example, if you're buying a new jacket, are you buying it because you need a new rain jacket? Are you buying it because the season is changing and that you don't have a warm enough coat? Or what is the reason for your purchase? So also I would like to say that focus on that purchase rather than the items which may surround it. So that if you're buying a new rain jacket, for example, don't think about the rain boots, don't think about the umbrella, focus solely on the jacket and keep your focus on the purpose of that item. You may also want to challenge yourself a little bit here and see how long you can last without making that purchase. You may also want to consider the one in, one out approach. You may call it a rule, you may call it a strategy, whatever it is, make sure that when you buy something new, something else has to go. I'm not sure I personally agree with this, because I don't necessarily think that you need to get rid of something to justify buying something new. I do, however, believe that you don't need a bunch of stuff to dress well. So I think in that aspect, having a sense of minimalism to your closet and really curating so that you only have pieces that you wear, that makes sense. If you act too fast and you get rid of something that you actually use and love, then you haven't really, you know, evolved in any way. You've just stuck to a principle for the sake of doing so. But anyway, if you want to follow this rule, then it may help you think twice about what you are actually adding to your closet and what you then would need to remove from your closet. For instance, if you have a dress that you rarely use and maybe it doesn't even fit you anymore, maybe it's beyond repair, of course, like, get rid of that if you are buying a new one, so that your items in your closet are, as I said, loved and used, but they also make sense for you in your life now. And I also think that a lot of times we hold on to certain items for nostalgic purposes, and we may not want to let go of certain things, and that's completely fine. With the one in, one out rule, that sort of makes you reflect and consider why you have kept something for so long and what purpose does it really serve you, more than being a memoir. So I know that I'm a broken record, but if you can, try to focus on buying quality over quantity. So if you focus on buying fewer higher quality items, you will end up with pieces that will last you longer and will look a lot better. When we prioritize quality over quantity, we often feel more satisfied with what we own, and we will also feel less tempted to replace things constantly because they are better quality, and so they will look nicer and feel better for a longer period of time. If you're sort of deciding between, should I get 2 sweaters for this price or should I just get the one, which is the price of 2, I would urge you to always get just one. Personally, for me, also, when I do manage to buy something of better quality, I also associate it with a little bit more feelings of pride, like I was able to buy this really nice thing for myself, and that also motivates me to actually get the wear out of it and use it a lot, because I'm proud of what I have and how I style it and how I wear it. The next advice I have for you is to beware of marketing triggers. So I work in marketing and I know a thing or two about the many tricks of the trade. So as a consumer, you need to be aware of how marketing influences your buying decision. So advertisers, they are masters at creating desire that you didn't even know that you had. Every time that you see an ad or a social media post or an influencer promoting something, it can trigger your desire to buy. So be mindful of these triggers. Maybe go through the list of people that you follow on social media and think about, did you really want the item before you saw the ad? What type of content are you fed with in your feed, and how does that all make you feel? Because for me personally, I was following a lot of people which made me feel like they had it all. They were always wearing new outfits. It all looked so glamorous, and it made me compare myself to them and think about how, well, I don't have a new outfit every single day. And I went through a phase where I did buy a lot of clothes, but I never seemed to get enough. Whereas now I no longer follow people who make me feel like I need to buy more and more and more. I instead follow people who focus on finding styles that work for me personally, and obviously, as you can tell from my channel, I really believe that I can still have fun with fashion and enjoy styling items without having to buy a bunch of new clothes. So the Diderot Effect is just one example of how our behavior as consumers are influenced by psychological factors. Another fascinating one is the endowment effect. And this is the idea that once we own something, we tend to overvalue it simply because it belongs to us. So this can explain why it's often hard to get rid of things that you've had for a long time, as kind of what I was talking about before with nostalgic items in your closet. So we assign more value to them than maybe your partner or your friend or your family member would. There's also the paradox of choice, and this suggests that while we may think having more choices is a good thing, it often leads to a decision paralysis or dissatisfaction. I feel like I've talked about this previously, but how many times have you gone shopping faced with endless options and then you have gotten overwhelmed and you ended up buying nothing at all instead? So this has happened to me so many times when I go into a makeup store and I want to get a small thing like a lip gloss or something, but there are 200 shades and I just feel like there's no way that I can wrap my head around all of these options, and so I just give up and leave. I feel like understanding these psychological tendencies are a great way to understand how we all can become more mindful consumers. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you maybe learned something new. If you would like to hear me speak more about topics like these or make videos similar to this one, then please give this video a thumbs up and feel free to share it with a friend. Also, let me know if you've ever experienced the Diderot Effect, and maybe you can give me an example of when that was. I would love to hear your thoughts. I wish you the best week ahead, and I will see you again next Sunday. Bye!